Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Night in the Woods, and tonight, once again, I have my good friend Antinomy
Yup.
joining me to hang out with Greg, and what we're going to be doing today is we're actually going to be doing the final ghost investigation mission.
That is fancy.
That is fancy, because what happened last time was, in the LP itself, we went out with Angus, and we went out with B to the graveyard, and I bet that's what you did as well.
It's been a while, man.
It's been a while, but I imagine that's what it was you had done, because you didn't really hang out with Greg, except once.
Just to break some light bulbs.
Just to break some light bulbs, and that wasn't even a real hangout. That was more like a bonus activity. But in any case, we are here in the house on the hill.
Yes. I wonder if there's a betrayer.
A betrayer, yeah. There's only two characters. Which one of them is Oxbellows?
Probably Greg.
Probably Greg, yeah. He's the one. Although he says he's handy, he could probably be like, you know, the professor or the Father Reinhardt.
Still, Greg looks to me like a guy who likes shiny objects.
He likes shiny objects. Yeah, he carries knives.
Yeah.
He steals. He's probably the Oxbellows or Flash. He's definitely the physical one.
Yeah, but Flash is likes Shakespeare.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not read that in his bio.
It says on the card.
I know, I haven't read that on his bio. In any case, just to recap what it is we're doing out here, the reason that why we're visiting this haunted house, as we keep calling it, is because during the library segment we were looking for leads to find Little Joe, the ghost that's been causing the disappearances and all that stuff. At least that's what Mae suspects. One of the newspaper reels or newspaper articles said that a caretaker who was hanging out after hours heard spooky noises in the house. So now we're trying to we're telling Greg, asking Greg, didn't you say you were going to change because, you were saying Greg is a bad influence on Mae and Mae vice versa on Greg. They're trying to be more adult.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, they just bring out the worst qualities in each other.
But even if someone does that, if they are good friends for each other, shouldn't they stay friends?
It depends if it affects their daily life.
Which I suppose you can argue it does in this case.
Yeah.
Because there's a chance that if Greg is caught here, which is why he's saying if I get caught, you're the one who's going to get blamed on. Mae's like, okay, sure. I'll do that. I'll take that. So this looks exactly like a haunted house, and it has the rooftop, so we know that we're playing the Widow's Peak expansion.
Widow's Walk.
Widow's Walk, exactly.
Yeah, Widow's Peak is something else different. It's what Vegeta has.
It's what Vegeta has. So I wish that there was an option here, it looks like that one in. I hope there was one that said in that cover of that box, in that game box. I'm like, damn it, it would have been too close. Yeah. So I chose the next best thing, the book, which is The Haunting on Arbor Street. And they do have an Arbor Street, so creepy. I wonder what kind of book that would be, Haunting on Arbor Street. Do you think that would be like a Edgar Allan Poe novel? Do you think that would be some sort of Goosebumps novel?
It sounds like a generic horror novel to me.
Generic horror novel? Yeah. It's like a bit like some of those Netflix shows that are trying to be spooky. It's like people in the wall, ghosts and poltergeists.
Yeah, and with cheap 1990s 3D effects.
Yes, exactly.
Even though it was made in the 2010s-ish.
I mean, maybe there's some sort of expectation about house hauntings. You really can't go off the formula.
I mean, you can always do things in a generic way, but give it a spin. I saw from Cinema Massacre, they did a review on House, which is a horror movie from Japan in the 70s.
Okay.
It was pretty copy and paste, but the effects that they did was pretty... They were pretty damn spooky-ish because you don't know what you're seeing.
Right, and I had this conversation with basically a dude from our meetup group for our board games meetup. He was saying how there were certain horror movies that just weren't good, but he recommended me a couple of Japanese ones like Junijo or whatever. It was like a recent-ish movie. I wrote it down. Hang on a second. Let me actually look it up right now because I have it on my phone.
Ichida Killer?
No, nothing like that. It was like a 2-word movie. It was called...
Sweet Home?
No. Hang on. It was called Ju-on.
Ju-on.
Ju-on. And he was saying that the little girl who could see ghosts or whatever, you never see the monster. You never see the ghosts. But you see maybe enough of it or a hint of it that your imagination does the rest, and it's creepy.
That's what I like. Instead of like American style, like, here's the ghost.
You know, actually, it's funny you say that. There are some critics who absolutely... I mean, when I say critics, I mean people who like do those kind of like amateur movie reviews kind of things. Like, here, I watched this movie and I hated it. And why? Because it didn't show the monster. It's like, you don't always need to show the monster.
Yeah.
Although in some cases, maybe it would have worked out better. Like a movie like Bird Box on Netflix. I mean, like, that movie, I thought it was average at best. Some people really liked it, others didn't, but one complaint that I heard was they didn't show the monster, and I'm like, you don't really need to see the monster.
Yeah, sometimes it's creepier before you see the monster.
Right, I mean, I haven't seen the movie or TV version of The Mist by Stephen King, but when I read it, I was like, dang, this is pretty gory. You know, it's like, it's Stephen King, he can get gory when he wants, gory spooky. I assume that the TV show / movie version of it had maybe some visibility of, like, I don't know, scythes or blades or teeth or tentacles coming out of the fog to kill people.
Huh. I thought that was more like of a Clive Barker kind of thing.
No, it was, you mean the story? Or do
like
you mean the idea?
The goriness.
No, Stephen King can get gory when he wants. Like, he can talk about, like, have you read It?
No.
Okay.
I've seen the movie.
You've seen the movie. Well, I mean, I know
Who
it gets...
hasn't?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I bet if you asked my friend Maple Leaf, he'd probably say no. Not a lot of people watch every movie.
Well,
but,
I mean It, the old one. The
It,
one with
the
Tim
old
Curry.
one. That's what I mean. I mean that one. In any case... Quickly, just to bring it here. Here's the activity. We're trying to shine a light on Greg so he can pick the door. Because we're breaking through the basement, and you never break through the basement on betrayal. You never want to go to the basement early, but that's where they're going.
Except on the expansion, which is easier to get out of.
Yes, that's true. So, I guess the gimmick of this part of the episode right here, or this part of the gameplay, is we are hearing noises. And I automatically think, oh, I heard a noise. I'm going to shine the flashlight up on the path because I don't want anything sneaking up on Greg while he's working. He doesn't say anything when I take the flashlight away from him because, he needs light to pick the lock. But, you hear rustles and you're like, something coming or not, But eventually Greg's like, what the fuck is going on? What's going on out there? You hearing any noises? It's like, hey, watch my back, please. Don't let me get picked. Don't let me murdered here by an event or something. But we were talking about a little bit before this. We were talking about It, and we were talking about how Stephen King can get gory when he wants. And It, the movie, yes, it had the little blood popping effects and the stuff like that. No, I remember a specific scene from It that still sticks to mind today. Like some kid who was a bully, I believe. It's been a while since I've read it. He lives in a junkyard or something, and as it starts to scare up the children, also owls. An owl just completely massacred Greg. Game over.
Oh, really?
No, not game over. It was that was what the making the noise. We were hearing rustling, and he's like, "What is that? What is that? Owl!" Although, do owls attack people like that?
I wouldn't think so.
You
but then
wouldn't think
again,
so.
they're like anthropomorphic animals, so...
Yes, that's true. It's like, a dog, attack, Even though it's like, no. Even Mae's like, I didn't know owls attack like that. What was his effing deal? But in any case, just to finish my thought about Stephen King, there was this one bit that was the kid finds a refrigerator that wasn't there before in the junkyard, or maybe he just finds something creepy about it. And King describes it as these hanging pieces of jerky. Like, imagine lots of little, jerky straps just hanging off the grills inside a fridge, like shelving. And he's, looking for it. They look like little pieces of leather or meat, just kind of swaying in the breeze. And he's like, what is that? And they all kind of unfurl like little wings that you can't quite see. And they all start flying out. And they are leeches. And they drain the kid dry. They freaking killed the kid by basically drinking of all the blood. And I'm like, I was horrified. I was like, holy shit. It's like, if there's one thing I really don't like, it's mixing bugs, bloodletting, and death. You know, I was just like, oh god, this is gross.
Yeah.
It was a sick way to go, but yeah, I was like, it wasn't in the movie, and I was like, when I was watching that movie, the 90s movie, I was like, ooh, are they gonna show that scene? They never showed it. I guess they were like, we can kill the kid in some other way, maybe off camera.
I don't think that ever appeared in the most recent version either.
No, I mean, it was one of those scenes that perhaps was superfluous. You know, it's like, oh, yet another scene where, you know, kids died, but I was like, dude, this was a gory ass scene. You know, if somebody did an animation or something like that, I was like, Yeah. So we're in the basement, trying to get out now, trying to find the stairs to the foyer.
Or the mystic elevator.
Or the mystic elevator. Speaking of elevators, there are two of them so far. So far, I'm spoiling it a bit, but we're gonna find more elevators.
But why would an old house have more than one elevator?
Now, don't forget, this is the historical society now. I mean, I imagine some elevators are for the workers or maintenance and stuff like that. Yeah. But even so, like you're saying, it's like, wouldn't it be easier to maybe have just two maximum elevators, like one for the workers, one for the crowd? Maybe one for maintenance at most, like 3. But you're gonna see more elevators later on. This house, like, it's filled to the brim with elevators.
Oh well, like I don't know if you ever seen like a Barbie Life in the Dream House.
No, would I?
It's much better than it deserves to be.
Okay.
Extremely so.
Extremely so. All right.
They always like tongue in cheek, and like one of the characters said, like, what kind of hovel doesn't have more than one elevator in their dream house?
Wow, okay. It's like, I guess whoever wrote the script for that knew exactly what they were getting into.
Exactly. And they make like 2 references to Indiana Jones in the first episode.
That's surprising.
Yeah.
I mean, well, maybe they were trying to be hip and with it, but maybe
it does work.
It does work. If it works, it works. Right?
I recommend it to you.
Yeah, let's watch Barbie's Dream House after we're done with this.
Hey, I wouldn't complain.
And then later on be like, so I watched it, and I gotta say, I kind of liked it.
I bet you will say that after actually watching it.
Alright, is that a challenge?
Yeah.
Alright, I'll have to give it a shot if you say so.
It's like My Little Pony.
Yeah, I guess you're right. It's like when My Little Pony first came out like 5-6 years ago, we were like, no. Why is what people are liking it? Not kids? No. And then people were like, well, actually, it was actually kind of good.
Yeah. And then we both watched like the first couple of seasons.
Yeah.
Before just getting like, I had enough.
Yeah, it was good. It was good, but like when it was supposed to be good. It's like a bit like SpongeBob. The first 3 seasons were really good. Yeah. And then after that, you're like, I'm good.
Yeah, but like I could still find myself watching an episode of SpongeBob here and there, but not for My Little Pony.
Yeah. I mean, there's like that one video was saying, like, why does SpongeBob resonate so much with millennials? Because it's done well.
Yes.
Alright, so we took the elevator up, not the stairs, because, you know, we're not going to bother. But there were spooky noises. And already our two great heroes are rolling sanity checks. And being like, it's not even real.
What would be the equivalent of Mansions of Madness?
Of Mansions of Madness?
Yeah. Did we ever... There's no such
No,
event.
it's the horror check.
Yeah.
We're just rolling for our mental status.
Yeah.
By the way, viewers, if you've never played... If you do have a group of people to play with, give a shot to either play Betrayal at House on the Hill or Mansions of Madness. We played both. Both of them are different in other ways.
Yes.
But they're both good in their own way.
Yes. We would say more, but
But no, we'll see. We'll make more references as we're watching here. I was gonna say, hey, did you pick up that item? Do you have that knife still? We're gonna have to make some might attacks on the ghost. I like how this is the only 2 options. Like, are we gonna go back? Options. Do you have your knife? Or no? I was like, do you have your knife? And now Greg is like, wait, is that the plan now? We're actually gonna stab people? I'm gonna stab people? It's like, just in case.
I mean,
you never know.
Sure.
I mean, you never know when there are going to be things to stab when you're investigating a creepy old house.
I think I have a hard time imagining that that's the U.S. in contemporary times because nobody has a gun.
Yeah. Although, don't forget, these are 20-somethings, like 21 or 22-year-old people.
Midwest, though.
But they're not quite in the Midwest. I think this would be the equivalent of, like, the east side
So New
of
England?
the United States. No. England's too far north. I'm thinking, like, Pennsylvania, like, center of the country, like, latitude-wise. but on the mountainous range, the Appalachian Trail, like hugging the east, like West Virginia, hugging the eastish side, you know.
Now,
so
that's a place I never want to go to.
No, I don't either. I mean, I imagine people who are living there trying to live well and all, but not something I would care to visit.
Yeah, especially not. Yes.
Just yeah. Also, the stairs don't work. You can't take the spiral staircase.
That's a shame.
Stairs are not for climbing. Well, then what are stairs for?
That reminds me that at my old school, back in elementary and middle school, it was an old house made into a school.
Yeah.
The kids were never allowed to take the proper stairs. We were always forced to take the servant stairs.
Because the proper stairs were like old and rotting?
No, because they were for like the grown-ups.
Take the servant stairs, kids.
Yes.
Also, I was going to make a quick joke. Have you heard of, there was a comedian, I don't know if it's Mitch Harmon. He was known as the guy with the rose-tinted glasses. He was a really funny dude. I'm actually going to look him up now again. Because normally I don't do this with Maple Leaf, or we don't have our phones out looking for shit, but we're talking a lot more than we normally do on an episode of this. There's a comedian who made a great bit talking about how, elevators, people, like, he always gets a little bit upset / happy when he sees signs on an escalator saying, escalators are out of service, sorry for the inconvenience. And he says, it should be the other way around. Escalators, when they're not working, become stairs. It should be escalators temporarily stairs, sorry for the convenience.
I remember reading something like that.
Mitch Hedberg, yes. Not Harvard. Hedberg, yes.
That reminds me of a horror story involving escalators.
Okay, I'm interested.
It's mostly like a short story. It involves China.
China, okay.
There was a video of a woman going up the escalators with her kid or something.
Yes.
As soon as she steps past the stairs, the metal grid that they have on the floor?
Yeah.
It collapses.
That's like a real story, not just horror.
Yeah, it is a real story.
Well, I think there was an accident not too long ago, like in Italy or something, or someplace in Europe, where the escalator just started going out of control, the down escalator, and people were fucking piling up at the bottom because it gave way at the bottom. It just shredded it, and some people's feet were mangled and shit. And I was like,
Well, the one with the Chinese story goes even worse.
Okay.
Because the escalators are still working.
Oh, no. So she was caught in the grating. She was caught in the mechanics.
She was completely mangled. But at least she saved her own kid by giving it to some workers that happened
to be there. Yeah. My God. Well, props to that mom for her maternal instinct.
Yes.
And not losing her head. I've always been wondering if people actually do have some sort of like switch in their mind if they're a parent. To be like, save my kid.
Yeah, I assume that they have, and like. I remember something about a woman lifting a car off her kid, which is something that it does happen because usually people have the
adrenaline kicks in.
They self-limit like the use of their muscles, but in occasions like this they go overboard and they do the full capacity of their muscles. The thing is, if you use them that way, you run a great risk of basically like shredding your muscles.
Yeah, just injuring yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. Just to bring things back here to the what's going on. There was I don't know if you know much about United States labor history.
Not a whole lot. Mostly that they hate unions.
Yeah, true. I imagine maybe we know something about Mexico's labor history or not. Maybe a little bit of the history of the striking and all that for better conditions.
Yeah, it's become like it's become a form of abuse.
Right. Like labor, you mean? Like the labor conditions have become a form of abuse.
I meant in the sense that the unions abuse and the companies also abuse. Everybody's trying to abuse.
Okay, I see. Because the situation, they were just describing the Possum Massacre, which was basically a labor uprising where so many mines and unions joined in that the governors basically said, the bosses of the mining companies basically brought in the army, and then they opened fire on the protesters.
Oh, that's nice.
That's nice. It reminded me a bit of the what happened in the Berkeley Massacre, I think, or in the California, where in the 60s, like the National Guard opened fire on a bunch of protesting hippies, and people were like, why would you open fire on people not doing anything?
When was this, did you say?
In the 60s.
In the 60s. So which president was...
Well, I'm imagining it was not... Maybe Johnson? Or... I can always look it up on the handy... No, good old phone to the rescue.
I would imagine that's more of a Nixon thing.
No, Nixon was in the 70s. Hang on a second. Let me look it up here. Was it the Berkeley Massacre? Berkeley Massacre? No, I don't think that was... It was not... let me see. People's Park in Berkeley? Oh, the Kent State. It was Kent State, not Berkeley. But it was in People's Park in Berkeley. And this was... It was for radical political activism in the 1960s. And Bloody Thursday, was that it? 1969?
Those, like, communist thoughts must be...
Well, Governor Reagan sent the California Highway Patrol and the Berkeley cops.
That explains it. That Reagan.
And a rally turns to protest on May 15th, and because they closed down the park, and Reagan's chief of staff, Edwin Messi III, they said police were permitted to use whatever methods they chose against the crowds.
Well, that's nice.
Jesus Christ. No, just, what do you do with people who are protesting? Shoot them!
Of course.
Police, shoot them,
Else their thoughts will invade other people's minds.
Yeah, really. Or else the protests will grow, and you can't help that, because protests.
And, like, socialism and communism is bad.
Yeah.
I mean, communism is not well... Implemented ever.
It has a bad history of a track record, rather.
It would be better to have it the Scandinavian way.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. Yeah. Like, it's like, unfortunately, if we're going to go into the full communal sense, it's probably not going to work unless we take lots of generations to do it.
Yeah.
Because you can argue that in the early days, like, of humanity and stuff, it was... Even so, when currency was invented, it all became slightly capitalistic because people were like, but this is mine. I don't want to give it away, And there's only, again, maybe it's overcoming nature and overcoming our programming to be like, no, you gotta share, Jimmy, you gotta share.
I mean, when you're a kid, well, some kids are assholes, but other, like sharing.
Yeah, sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring. That's what Dora the Explorer, taught me when I was 20.
That's the lessons I should have learned. Dora taught me. So we took the elevator down. It was just an office, and now we're yet another elevator. Like is this the fifth one? Yeah, it is the fifth one. The fifth elevator. This house is absolutely speed levels of elevators. Elevators everywhere.
Okay, so what are you doing now?
Well, the newspaper article had said, and they brought this up a little bit. We were looking at each other as we were talking, but the newspaper said that the map room in the haunted house had the spooky noises. So we're trying to find the map room.
Okay.
And just basically like a game of Betrayal, we've trying to trigger the omen, trigger the knowledge check on the fucking room, and we're trying to find it, but. Maybe we have to take this elevator up because Greg is like, I can't pick this lock. I left my lockpick stuff out back because the owl attacked me.
Ah, yes.
And then before lest you blame him too quickly, Mae dropped a flashlight too. So because of the owl. So everybody has lost an item. And now we're trying to find pliers and paper clips. Paper clips probably in the office that we were just in. But I'm like, too obvious. I want to keep exploring because if it is necessary for the plot to progress, I want to see what else is around before we go and do the necessary, what would I say? The necessary, I guess, plot progression point?
I guess.
Yeah.
I often try to do the same thing when I play my games, though, like, quarter of the time I accidentally go into the plot progression part.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, dang it, I didn't mean to forward the plot.
Yes.
Although, in some cases, in this game, I mean, especially maybe after the first bit where you're like, oh, you gotta hang out with either Greg or B, and it's like, oh, okay, so if I talk to one of them and say, yes, let's hang out, the date is over. And it's like, okay, so I will avoid talking with them completely until we do the thing. And here, we know for a fact that finding the pliers and paper clips are necessary because there's a whole new elevator to go up, and I'm like, hey, as long as I don't touch that paperclip, as long as I don't go back to the office, we're solid.
Oh, this seems like a restaurant?
Yeah, that was my first thought too. I was like, huh. And then the moment I passed the third light, I was like, oh no, wait, this is one of those like slap the button and the wall lights up in a museum room,
yes.
you know?
That's something they should do more about, like go to museums, but there's not a whole lot of museums here in Montreal.
There are quite a few. I mean,
okay, wait, maybe I'm lazy then.
Well, you may want to maybe look for museums that are cheap to go to, because there are some museums that are more expensive than others. That's for sure. I mean, sometimes I take people on my first dates to the Museum of Beaux-Arts, the Fine Arts Museum.
Oh, yeah,
they always have free exhibitions there. So they have 4 floors full of stuff to look at. It's good stuff.
I only remember the Napoleon one.
Napoleon. Yeah, there's a whole Napoleon bit. So this is the map room. We're filling out a map of the town, which is actually kind of cool.
Oh, so that's where the spooky noises came from.
Yes, they said the spooky noise is coming from here. So this is plot progression, but it's necessary because we still have to pick that elevator's lock. So we're good. Also, you may have been noticing. I mean, I don't know. You haven't played the game in a while. Right here in the center, this is Mae's house. You can probably see the little hill where she climbs up to go. And the middle area here, where all the tall buildings are, that's the downtown area where Gregg and Angus live and work. And there's a factory in the back. The woods in the far left are where the abandoned supermarket was, where we did our crime spree, where we stole that the bunny head. And over here, like you can see the big abandoned spooky house in the middle of the woods. You know, the trailer house on the hill, big and alone.
Yes.
And it gives you an idea of how this town is laid out, which is actually kind of neat. And then Gregg, I don't know why he says this is his neighborhood. He doesn't live here. He doesn't live in the farmland area.
Maybe he lives like over here.
No. He lives in the building near the factory on the left. I mean, he lives with Angus there.
Maybe it's his old neighborhood.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking maybe that's what they meant. They meant that this is the old neighborhood. And now that we've lit up the map, yay! Little animation on the train. Yeah.
Why is the house red?
Kind of say you are here. And then there could be spooky noises, because you trigger the machine and then spooky noises happen. So maybe that's what happened. You can already see maybe on the far left of the screen.
Yes.
It's like progression.
Yes.
Spooky noise is coming from that blue room on the left side. But we're not gonna go there. We're trying not to. And then I realized, the door's locked.
Oh
shit. Well, not that it's locked, but I don't have an option to get out.
Forced plot progression.
And there's a statue. We think it's a statue, but it's like, you know what? Let's ignore that. And then a toolbox. Probably got some pliers.
Probably, yeah.
So I was like, okay, grab the pliers, and then check out the creepy statue.
Of course. Why wouldn't there be pliers there?
Yeah, it's a toolbox. I mean, you should have pliers in your toolbox. I have 2 of them actually in my room right now.
I should have some pliers.
Well, I'll bring them with me when I move in with you. I'll be like, here we go. This could be your this could be your toolbox, and this could be my toolbox, because I have 2 sets. I don't know why I have 2 sets. I think it was because I thought I lost the first one, because I was gifted one by my mom's ex, and then the other one my dad got me when I moved to Montreal. So I was like, well, I got 2 now. So sweet.
I assumed that I would be getting the X's.
I don't even know which is which. Honestly.
They're both the same?
No. One of them is like you can see it right there. One of them is like a yellow box, and the other one is like an elongated briefcase looking thing.
I see.
And the machine does noises. And it's like, it must be some sort of like press the button and you hear it talk kind of thing.
Animatronic.
Yeah. Well, we built an animatronic, so...
That reminds me, that there's like a Hall of Presidents or something in Disneyland, right? Or
yes, I do know
Disney
that.
World.
Yes.
Imagine that with Trump added there.
They already have the picture in the movie. You can see it on YouTube. And it's just like, it doesn't look anything like him. I think the reason why it doesn't look anything like him, people assume is because they thought Hillary was going to be president, so they began modeling the model on her. And then when Trump became president, they're like, oh shit. Well, it's too late to stop progress now. We got to get this before the inauguration or whatever. And then he just kind of finished the job. The machine looks like a terrible. The animatronic does not look like Trump at all. For one, it's too thin, and for second, the face is all off. It's non-Euclidean.
What would be non-Euclidean?
It just looks really haggard. It looks like, when I say non-Euclidean, I'm making a joke. The fact that it doesn't look of this world. It looks Cthulhian. It just looks bad. So now, once again, I'm blaming you if this goes bad because the noises are coming from around the house still. You know, Gregg did a little bit of sleuthing. He's like, wait a minute, but if this is what was making the noise in the room, how did we hear noises in other parts of the house?
That makes sense.
That does make sense, and it's like, okay, well, there's probably still a ghost in here, and or a big burly historical employee society dude with a taser.
Are there any spooky abandoned places here in Montreal?
I'm sure that if you ask my roommate, he'd say yes.
Oh yeah, he does know about that.
He does ghost tours, so he would know. Yeah. I mean, he says that there apparently have been lots of murders around here. So.
Oh yeah, then that.
In the 1800s.
Oh okay. That because I would like to do some urban exploration.
Yeah.
But I am also lazy.
Well, the old port apparently, I hear. Let's go to we can always visit those old abandoned factories in the old port and such.
They're open to the public?
No. And we'd have to do what they're doing here. We'd have to turn to each other and go, crimes.
Yes.
Crimes. Banging the table. Crimes. Crimes. Crimes.
Yeah. Then but one of us would, if something happens, one of us should talk to the police and you don't speak French.
I speak very poor French.
Yeah.
But the problem is you look really immigrant-y.
Yeah. So it's a no-win situation.
It's a no-win situation. So now we're looking there are 9 things to look at in this room. One of them are the paper clips, and I'm like, ooh, I hope the paper clips are the end ones because I want to see everything that's around here. So a picture of a dog. Picture of some dang kids.
Who cares about some damn kids?
A little hula girl.
Ah, classic.
And then paper clips.
Yes.
It's like, damn it, I didn't get to explore the final table. We got the stuff. We got pliers. We got paper clips, and it's like, can you really pick a lock with paper clips and pliers? I mean, you must be able to because
maybe he's with the pliers. He holds the paper clip and just short circuits the thing.
It's not electronic.
It's an elevator.
It's an elevator. I know, which is why I was kind of like, huh, really? It could be that. I mean, because he doesn't pick a visible lock on the screen, you know. But you must be right. I mean, it could be that he's trying to short the machine. And he does kind of. You'll see where he messes in the elevator, because I was like, really? That's not where I would think the lock would go, but he does it. Starts fiddling with that. Starts fiddling with that panel.
Okay, so let's see.
I'm gonna break out of county jail someday with these skills. It's like, yeah, Gregg, you do you, man. What are you going to jail for? Something like this.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, it's breaking and entering. Yeah, he's fiddling with the panel, so I think you're right. I think maybe this is electronic lockpicking,
I mean, I didn't think Gregg would be an engineer or something.
He uses crime skills. And also, the other elevator. It's coming up. Someone's coming.
Oh, spooky.
Spooky.
How can she tell?
Their noises.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Yeah. You'll have it done in soon. And now they're coming up. The elevator. Yeah, this is probably minus the cult scene and go investigating the mines and near the end of the game. This is probably the spookiest scene in the whole game. Actually investigating a haunted house and, coming across weird noises and someone following you in the house. And we're back in the basement. Now, the moment that this happened, I was like, wait, are we going to be playing a sort of version of Urban Runner? Have you ever heard of that game?
Nope.
Okay, you know how in the 90s there were some of those Sierra adventure games,
yes.
like point and click, like Police Quest and whatever?
I played a lot of those.
Urban Runner was a type of game like that where it was not graphics, it was not 8-bit graphics running on the screen, puzzle solving. It was some sort of it was filmed. It was all not CGI, but it was real life. It was FMVs and all that stuff. And you point and clicked on pictures, really badly compressed pictures, now that I think about it, of real things. But during the first half of the whole game, You were just like, the story was that you were just an investigative journalist in like France or something, and you were investigating some sort of corruption thing, and this assassin starts pursuing him. And for the first half of the entire game, you're trying to run away from the assassin. You're trying to go through basically a thing like this, running through an office building, trying to find the puzzles. And as the assassin got closer and closer to you, this movie would pop up on the top left of the screen or something, another FMV, like open up a Windows Media Player, you know, because, you know, encoding at the time was different, you know, and you'd see him getting closer, like, you know, looking around a corner, but it was all filmed. It was all, like, you know, filmed by an actor and all that. And that was the clue. Hey, you better get a move on before he gets into your room and shoots you dead or something. So I was like, wait, are we going to be doing that? Are we going to start running around the whole house, giving this person the runaround, this ghost the runaround? You know, while Greg picks the lock, okay, 30%, let's get out of here and come back. And I was like, no, this game wouldn't do that. This game wouldn't pull that.
Yeah, it seems more simple, like.
It seems more simple. It's like, let's just pick the lock.
Yeah.
Pick the next elevator's electronic panel.
In the dark.
In the dark, yeah. It's like, sorry, I dropped the flash. You were being attacked by an owl.
They're in the basement. Couldn't she go get the flashlight outside?
Door was locked. She mentioned the door locked behind him. And also, the elevator's coming.
Oh, shit.
Yet again. Get out through the back. Like, see, double check that the door is locked. And I was like, yeah, I'll get it right on that.
Yeah, like, you can't pretend to do that. Oh, I thought that you were just like one step away and then one step back.
Yeah, I was like, no, I'm gonna roam around. Oh, okay, I have to plot progress. All right, let's go check out the elevator, or check out the back door. And turns out it's stuck.
Ah, okay, that makes sense.
We are so screwed. And then I imagine like Greg is like you can see these two 20-year-olds. Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Something locked it. Someone. Let's correct it. Not a ghost, a person. Not a ghost, a person.
And that elevator here is taking its time.
It's cutscene powers. We're gonna get chased around in the circle. I was like, well, isn't that kind of what I would do? I would do that. I would probably be like, okay, let's quietly go back up the stairs. Kind of go back up and then back down and then keep blocking. Picking locks. Take the elevator. Get out of here.
No, there's nothing better.
There's nothing better.
Yeah.
Any better ideas? Clearly, I don't. Let's hit the elevator. To God knows where. Going up. From the basement. All the way.
Oh, to the attic?
To the attic. Yeah, good call.
Yeah. Well, it seems woodsy.
Yeah. And it's like, what kind of geometry does this house follow?
Yeah, it seems weird to have like elevator with no stops in between. Wouldn't that become prohibitively expensive? Like to have a shit ton of elevators?
You'd think so. You'd think that they would. I mean, and also they're running after the house is like closed for the day because this historical society is a society. You know, there's things to do. Kids come in here in the day and learn about the history and all that. So, well, we have a way out. Found a window. Break through it.
Okay, so that's at least an option.
Yeah.
Don't know if you're gonna take it. Oh, yeah, windows are open. Well, you can always break it.
You can always smash it with your fists or just barrel through it like an action shot.
I think I saw something like wrapping your hand around the cloth and just like punching the window.
Doesn't work? Well, I think they say you should either use your elbow or something like that because, glass is glass. In the movies, they have sugar glass.
Yeah.
But in real life, if you try just jumping through the edges of the glass, just cut you straight up. So now we found something probably very, very kind of disturbing. Found a picture of a black goat coming from the sky into the earth.
Okay, so is that related to the cult?
Actually, it is because the cult calls the monster the black goat. And I replayed one of the supplemental games, the Lost Constellation. I don't know if you've played it, but Lost Constellation is like a little mini game that you've played. Mae's having a dream, and she and her friends investigate 13 stars around them, like constellations. And again, the elevator. And one of the constellations is this goat, and the story that they tell of it is that this goat crashed into an opera that was 21 hours long during the climax, and tons of people died. So I guess that was inspiration for the the thing out of space, whatever the cosmic horror is that's actually living in Possum Springs. It could be that. But we're breaking the window. We're getting the fuck out of here. Screw that. I don't. Mae's like, how do I know this painting? And Greg's like, no time to explain. Let's get the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah, you can't go back.
Can't go back. Can't go back to be like, hey, Ghost, what's up? And we're just booking it. We're trying to run away.
With Benny music.
Yeah.
Oh, scheiße.
Yeah, it's the Ghost. It's like, oh shit.
Are you sure it's not a cultist?
It's probably a cultist.
Yeah.
But it could also be a ghost. I mean, remember the mines? Again, like after they kind of let the people to die, they took the elevator, the old mine car back up, and out of nowhere, this thing shows up and tries to kidnap Mae and bring her back down, and they bring the elevator down on top of its head.
Yes, I remember that.
It's probably that thing. It's probably a ghost. It's probably the actual real thing.
That reminds me, like, if there would be, like, ghosts for other, like, cultists. Like, for example, like a Scientology ghost. Although that would be a Thetan, wouldn't it?
A Thetan? Yeah, like a spirit, yeah. And again, Gregg doesn't quite believe it. Although Mae's like, no, man, I can feel it. It's in my head. It's like, okay, fine. Ghost. Ghost security guard. Almost got caught by the monster, but we got out. The hero succeeded. The traitor, there was no traitor. There was just monster.
Yes.
We were able to escape the house. You crashed your bike. Got mauled by an owl.
Hey, but they have a story to tell.
Broke through a window, yeah. And then jumped off a fire escape. Not quite the best heist. Not quite the best crime.
I don't think like a Greg's boyfriend would appreciate that story.
No.
I mean, just be like anxious and angry. Like, why did you do something so irresponsible? Because it's Gregg. He's got crimes. That's why, because it's crimes. He had one last crime left in him, and that was it. Oh, cool.
The one last crime. Uh-oh. And Mae's getting woozy, like in the graveyard. If you did it on the second day, you probably remember that Mae had a bit of a moment. And she doesn't look so good. She looks a bit skinny and drawn and dying.
Is it because of her mental afflictions?
It's probably because of I don't know. The thing is, I do think that Mae, she's got mental problems, but for sure, what happens is she's been somehow cursed and or marked by the creature in the mine, the cosmic horror. So she definitely not only has brain problems, she's got mystic problems as well, which conflate,
Yeah, brain mystic problems.
Can you get on the bike? It's like, let's get out of here when your friend is half dying, or kind of like half out of it.
I mean, is there any other choice?
No. I mean, the other time we had the car. Now we don't.
Yeah.
Now we're just biking out.
I think it's only B has a car, right?
Only B has the car.
Yeah.
The other three don't. So, on the way to investigate the actual cult, this is the art that we get. Bad art, no clues, chased by a ghost, but Gregg rules. And as we're walking up the hill with Gregg as our, I guess, primary dude, he's like, wait, I think I heard an owl. A little bit of immersion storytelling there, because this had not happened to me on my B playthrough, because we went to the graveyard. He never got attacked by an owl, so it's cool that they touched on that, and they're like, wait, shit, I am owl-phobic now.
When was this mentioned?
What do you mean? Oh, this is when they're actually going to go up to the mines to look at the ghost, and the cult is there.
I see.
If I get mauled to death, I warned you all. I'll punch any owl that gets near you.
Oh.
And that's like, yeah, you got my back. But yeah, that was breaking into the Historical Society. That was the final hangout with Gregg. All that's left now is to find out the epilogue, like basically with Gregg as our best friend. So thank you once again for joining me, man.
Sure, no problem.